Don't move!
Game over, Max Payne.
Hey guys, this is Bruce, your host through the Pixelated Time Machine. Welcome to episode 3 of 15 best old school games that are still good more than 20 years later. Today we're talking about some super cool games from way back that are still just as fun now. These are the games your parents might have played, or maybe even you. And guess what? They're still awesome! We'll check out adventures, battles, and crazy fun moments that prove old games can be just as exciting as new ones. So, grab a snack, sit back, and let's jump into this time machine of gaming greatness. Oh, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any of the fun. Let's get started. Doom 3, 2004. If you're looking for a game that still sends shivers down your spine 2 decades later, Doom 3 is your ticket to Mars-flavored nightmare fuel. Released in 2004, this reimagining of the classic demon-slaying franchise took a bold departure from its run-and-gun predecessors. Instead of the usual rip-and-tear gameplay, ID Software crafted a methodical horror experience that would make even the bravest space marine check under their bed for imps. Set in 2145 on a Mars research facility, you play as a nameless Marine who probably wished he'd called in sick that day. The Union Aerospace Corporation, UAC, has been dabbling in teleportation experiments, and surprise, surprise, they accidentally opened a gateway to hell. Talk about a workplace safety violation. The game's story, penned by sci-fi writer Matthew J. Costello, draws heavy inspiration from classics like Aliens and George Romero's Living Dead series. The game's groundbreaking id Tech 4 engine revolutionized dynamic lighting and shadows, creating an atmosphere thicker than a Martian dust storm. The game's interactive computer terminals and detailed environments were way ahead of their time, letting players actually use in-game computers instead of just pressing a generic Use button. The BFG edition from 2012 made the game more accessible by letting players use their flashlight and weapons simultaneously, though purists still prefer the original's tension-building limitation. Max Payne, 2001. This tale of revenge follows Max Payne, a former NYPD officer turned DEA agent, whose life shatters when drug addicts high on a new designer drug called Valkyr murder his wife and newborn daughter. 3 years later, while working undercover in the Punchinello crime family, Max finds himself framed for his partner's murder and hunted by both the police and the mob. The game's gameplay mechanics, particularly its implementation of bullet time, set new standards for action games. This feature allows players to perform spectacular slow-motion gunfights inspired by Hong Kong action cinema and The Matrix, complete with detailed particle effects that make every shootout feel cinematic. The combat system delivers satisfying gunplay with an arsenal ranging from dual Ingram machine pistols to pump-action shotguns that send enemies flying through the air. Set during New York's worst blizzard, the game creates a haunting, apocalyptic atmosphere with its relentlessly bleak environments and empty streets. The story unfolds through stylized graphic novel panels with noir-inspired voiceovers, featuring James McCaffrey's brilliant performance as Max, whose metaphor-heavy narration perfectly captures the game's pulpy tone. The narrative skillfully blends elements of hard-boiled detective fiction with surprising touches of Norse mythology and surreal dream sequences. Developed by Remedy Entertainment with just 24 people in Finland, Max Payne achieved both critical and commercial success, selling over 4 million units. Its use of cinematic action, psychological storytelling, and technical innovation earned it numerous accolades, including BAFTA's Best PC Game of 2001. Even 2 decades later, the game's strong art direction, atmospheric lighting, and particle effects help it maintain its visual appeal, cementing its place among PC gaming classics alongside Doom, Deus Ex, and Half-Life.
The Demon Slayer, Dante.
Devil May Cry 2, 2003. Released in 2003, Devil May Cry 2 stands as one of gaming's most controversial sequels, developed under a notoriously tight schedule that would ultimately affect its final quality. The game follows demon hunter Dante and his new partner Lucia as they venture through the fictional Via de Marley Island to prevent a powerful demon named Agrosax from being resurrected. The game introduced several innovations that would become series staples, including the ability to play as multiple characters and an expanded combat system. Players could now perform wall runs and aerial moves, adding vertical dimensions to combat. The upgrade system was revamped, allowing players to use red orbs to enhance different weapons, while an amulet system provided various benefits like flying abilities and enhanced devil trigger attacks. However, the game's troubled production manifested in several criticized aspects. Dante's personality underwent a dramatic shift, becoming notably less charismatic than in the original. The story suffered from minimal exposition and underdeveloped characters, with even Lucia's mysterious connection to the villain Arius feeling abruptly revealed. The combat system, while more accessible, was criticized for being overly simplified, with players able to complete most encounters by simply holding down the shoot button. Despite its mixed reception, Devil May Cry 2 wasn't without merit. The boss battles required unique strategies and offered different experiences for both playable characters. The game also established important precedents for the series, including a more contemporary setting and the introduction of business-themed antagonists, which would influence future entries. The development team's experience with DMC2 motivated them to significantly improve their work on subsequent games in the franchise.
I'm a good judge of character.
That must be why we get along so well.
Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow, 2004. Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow proved that stealth gaming could evolve while maintaining its core tension. As the second entry in the acclaimed series, you once again don the night vision goggles of Sam Fisher, now tasked with preventing an Indonesian terrorist organization from unleashing smallpox in the United States. The game introduced several quality-of-life improvements that would become series staples. Sam finally learned to open doors while carrying bodies, and a helpful indicator now confirmed when bodies were properly hidden. The addition of the whistle mechanic to attract guard attention was a game-changer for stealth tactics. These refinements made the gameplay more fluid while maintaining the series' signature tension. The multiplayer mode is where 4 players could engage in intense cat-and-mouse matches playing as either spies or mercenaries. This innovative approach to competitive stealth gaming earned widespread praise, with critics noting that no multiplayer title had previously managed to balance 2 completely different playstyles so effectively. The game's commercial success was immediate, selling 1.7 million copies by March 2004 and reaching 2.8 million units by September of the same year. Its achievements were recognized with several prestigious awards, including Computer Action Adventure Game of the Year from the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences. The atmospheric locations, from rain-soaked streets to the exotic vistas of Jerusalem and Indonesia, showcase the game's enhanced graphics engine and lighting system. Michael Ironside's return as Sam Fisher's voice brought gravitas to the story, while Dennis Haysbert joined the cast as Irving Lambert, adding Hollywood-caliber performances to this espionage thriller. TimeSplitters 2, 2002. This next game was developed by Free Radical Design, a studio formed by former GoldenEye 007 team members. The game's premise follows Space Marines in the year 2401, racing against time to prevent an evil alien race from destroying humanity by collecting time crystals scattered across different periods of history. The game features 9 massive levels spanning diverse time periods and settings, from 1990s Siberia to a futuristic robot factory. Each level offers unique objectives and gameplay styles, supported by an incredibly precise dual analog control scheme that was revolutionary for its time, delivering the closest console approximation to PC mouse and keyboard controls. The technical achievements were equally impressive, with the game running at a buttery smooth 60 frames per second while delivering stunning special effects, detailed environments, and atmospheric lighting. The game's artistic direction shines through its varied locations and over 90 playable characters, complemented by a dynamic soundtrack that adapts perfectly to each time period. Beyond its story mode, TimeSplitters 2 offered unprecedented multiplayer value with 4-player split-screen action, an enhanced mapmaker mode for creating custom levels, and various gameplay modes including arcade and challenge scenarios. The multiplayer component was so well crafted that GameSpot declared it may very well be the best split-screen multiplayer-focused first-person shooter ever created. Unreal Tournament, 2004. This game stands as the pinnacle of arena-style first-person shooters, bringing back the blazingly fast gameplay that made the original UT a classic while adding revolutionary new features. This futuristic gladiatorial combat sport puts players in intense multiplayer battles across more than 100 diverse maps. The game brought back the beloved assault mode from the original UT, where teams take turns attacking and defending objective-based missions, while introducing the groundbreaking Onslaught mode featuring massive vehicle-based warfare. The vehicle combat was revolutionary, letting players command everything from nimble hovercrafts to powerful tanks, all with intuitive controls that were easy to learn but difficult to master. The game's technical achievements were equally impressive, featuring stunning graphics powered by the Unreal Engine, smooth 60 FPS gameplay, and remarkably intelligent bot AI that made even offline play engaging. The weapon arsenal was perfectly balanced, from the humble assault rifle that could be dual-wielded to devastating superweapons like the Redeemer rocket launcher. UT 2004 refined everything that made UT 2003 great while fixing its predecessor's shortcomings. The movement system was enhanced with features like double jumping, dodge jumping, and wall dodging, creating a uniquely acrobatic combat experience. The game also introduced innovative features like built-in voice communication and a pathfinding system that helped players navigate complex maps. 2 decades later, UT 2004 remains the benchmark for multiplayer FPS games, offering an unmatched combination of speed, precision, and tactical depth. Its influence can be seen in countless games that followed, cementing its place as one of the greatest multiplayer shooters ever created.
Fast. You know who he is?
And so do you. This, my friend, is Mr. 47.
Nifika. 47 is nothing but a rumor.
Hitman 2: Silent Assassin, 2002. This next game follows the story of Agent 47, who attempts to leave his violent past behind by becoming a humble gardener at a Sicilian church. However, when his friend Reverend Emilio Vittorio is kidnapped, 47 is forced to return to his old life as an assassin, working with the agency to track down the priest's whereabouts. The game significantly improved upon its predecessor's foundation with enhanced gameplay mechanics and new features. Players could now switch between third and first-person perspectives, incapacitate enemies non-lethally, and save mid-mission. The innovative ranking system rewards players for stealth and precision, with the coveted Silent Assassin rating awarded to those who complete missions with minimal civilian casualties and maximum discretion. Each mission offers multiple approaches to reaching objectives, from subtle poisonings to elaborate traps. The game takes players across diverse locations including Sicily, St. Petersburg, Japan, Malaysia, and India, with each setting offering unique assassination opportunities. The arsenal at 47's disposal ranges from silent weapons like garrotes and poison darts to more aggressive options like sniper rifles and explosives. The game's success stems from its perfect mix of action and adventure elements, transforming what could have been a simple shooter into an intricate puzzle box of assassination possibilities. Players must carefully consider disguises, timing, and environmental opportunities to execute the perfect hit. This thoughtful approach to stealth gameplay, combined with Jesper Kid's atmospheric soundtrack and the game's strong art direction, helped establish Hitman 2: Silent Assassin as a defining entry in the stealth genre.
According to the map, that stone head marks the secret entrance into the Lost City. Beyond the city lies the Temple of the Black River Goddess.
Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb, 2003. Released in 2003, Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb captures the spirit of the beloved film franchise with remarkable authenticity. Set in 1935, this globe-trotting adventure follows our favorite fedora-wearing archaeologist on a quest to find the Heart of the Dragon, a powerful artifact hidden in the tomb of China's first emperor. The game nails what makes Indy special, that perfect mix of scholarly knowledge and bare-knuckle brawling. The combat system was revolutionary for its time, featuring context-sensitive melee attacks that let Indy use chairs, tables, and pretty much anything not nailed down as improvised weapons. Whether you're throwing punches in a Hong Kong restaurant or using your trusty whip to swing across chasms in ancient temples, the gameplay perfectly channels Harrison Ford's iconic character. The environments span from the jungles of Ceylon to the streets of Prague, each location crafted with period-accurate architecture and atmospheric lighting. The physics engine was ahead of its time, allowing for realistic rope-swinging mechanics and environmental interactions that made puzzle-solving feel natural and intuitive. The game's sound design deserves special mention, featuring Clint Bajakian's orchestral score that captures John Williams' iconic style while creating its own identity. David Esch's voice performance as Indy strikes the perfect balance between scholarly wit and rugged charm, delivering classic one-liners that could have been pulled straight from the films. Battlefield 1942, 2002. This game's innovative conquest mode moved away from traditional deathmatch formats, requiring teams to capture and hold strategic control points while managing limited respawn tickets. Players could choose from 5 distinct classes: Scout, Assault, Medic, Anti-Tank, and Engineer, each serving crucial roles in the battlefield. What made the game truly groundbreaking was its unprecedented variety of gameplay options. You could storm beaches in Higgins boats, pilot fighter planes for strafing runs, command battleships, or engage in intense infantry combat. The game featured 16 meticulously crafted maps spanning all major World War II theaters, from the beaches of Normandy to the deserts of El Alamein. Each battlefield demanded different tactical approaches. Tank warfare dominated North African maps, while Pacific scenarios emphasized naval and aerial combat. The attention to historical detail extended to nation-specific armies, with players fighting as American, British, Russian, German, or Japanese forces depending on the map. The vehicle system was particularly impressive, featuring 35 different vehicles and 20 weapons. Players could cooperate in vehicle operation, with roles like tank driver-gunner combinations creating organic teamwork opportunities. This emphasis on coordination and team play set it apart from other FPS games of its era. The game's success was immediate and lasting, selling over 3 million copies by 2004, and establishing the foundation for what would become one of gaming's most influential franchises. Even after 2 decades, Battlefield 1942's core gameplay innovations continue to influence modern multiplayer shooters. Tony Hawk's Underground, 2003. As the 5th entry in the Tony Hawk series, this game follows your custom-created character's journey from a local skater to professional status, featuring a compelling narrative that takes you across the globe. What made Thug special was its groundbreaking innovations. For the first time in the series, players could get off their boards and explore environments on foot, adding a new dimension to level design and combo potential. The extensive character customization system was revolutionary for its time, allowing players to create their own skater, design custom tricks, and even build their own skate parks. The game's story mode was a particular highlight, featuring a memorable antagonist in Eric Sparrow, whose betrayals and schemes drive the narrative forward. The plot takes players through diverse locations, from urban New Jersey streets to international venues, each area offering unique skating opportunities and challenges. The level design was praised for its wide-open spaces and tight technical sections. Thug was both a critical and commercial success, winning Best Sports Game at the 2003 Game Critics Awards and Best Video Game Soundtrack at the 2004 MTV Video Music Awards. The PlayStation 2 version alone sold 11 million copies in the United States by December 2007, while the GameCube version achieved Nintendo's Player's Choice status by selling over 250,000 copies. Burnout 3 Takedown, 2004. This game was a miracle to arcade racing, and it introduced an aggressive combat racing system that would influence the genre for years to come. Developed by Criterion Games and published by EA Games, this third installment transformed the series from a pure racing game into an adrenaline-fueled demolition derby. The game's defining innovation was its takedown system, where players could slam opponents into crashes, earning boost and extending their boost meter up to 4 times its original size. This created an addictive cycle of destruction, where aggressive driving was rewarded with more speed. When players crashed, they could activate Impact Time, a bullet time feature allowing them to steer their wreckage into opponents for spectacular aftertouch takedowns. Beyond standard racing, the game offered diverse modes including Road Rage, where players aimed to take down as many opponents as possible, and the innovative Crash mode, which transformed intersections into explosive puzzle-like scenarios. The game's technical achievements were remarkable, featuring stunning real-time vehicle deformation, flying debris, and maintaining a butter-smooth 60 frames per second throughout.
Chancellor Sopot wants, Chancellor Sopot gets. Delta 09er.
Red Faction 2, 2002. Red Faction 2 shifted the series from Mars to Earth, setting players in the role of Alias, a nano-enhanced super soldier fighting against the tyrannical Chancellor Sopot in the year 2080. The game builds upon the revolutionary Geomod engine that made the original famous, allowing players to strategically destroy environments in real time to create new tactical opportunities. The story follows Alias and his squad of enhanced soldiers as they work with the Red Faction resistance to overthrow Sopot's dictatorship. What begins as a straightforward rebellion becomes more complex when squad leader Molov's true intentions are revealed, forcing players to choose sides in a conflict that will determine the future of nanotechnology and the Commonwealth. Players could use an arsenal of weapons and explosives to blast through walls, destroy floors beneath enemies, and create their own paths through levels. The game also featured vehicle combat and melee weapons, with each battle offering unique challenges and rewards. The multiplayer component supported up to 4 players in local split screen with 40 different levels, and the option to include AI bots. While the PC version notably lacked online multiplayer, the game's single-player campaign offered multiple endings based on player performance and hidden objectives. Red Dead Revolver, 2004. Set in the 1880s American frontier, the game follows bounty hunter Red Harlow's quest for vengeance after witnessing the brutal murder of his family. The game's standout feature was its revolutionary Deadeye targeting system, which allowed players to temporarily slow time and mark multiple targets before unleashing a devastating barrage of precisely placed shots. This mechanic would become a series staple and influence future games in the franchise. Combat wasn't limited to just gunfights. Players could engage in horseback pursuits, train battles, and intense duels that required perfect timing and precision. Originally started by Angel Studios under Capcom's direction in 2000, the game was later acquired and revived by Rockstar Games after they purchased the studio, renaming it Rockstar San Diego. This transformation helped shape the game's unique blend of arcade-style action and cinematic storytelling. The game offered an impressive arsenal of period-appropriate weapons, from handguns and rifles to throwable weapons like hunting knives and dynamite. Each completed mission rewarded players with bounty money that could be used to purchase new weapons, adding a progression system that kept the gameplay fresh. The multiplayer component supported up to 4 players in local split-screen combat, featuring 40 different levels and AI-controlled bots. While existing in a separate universe from its successors, the game's influence can still be felt in the series' signature blend of Western atmosphere and precise gunplay.
The security bots have acquired the target. We're too late!
Deus Ex Invisible War. Released in 2003, Deus Ex Invisible War takes place in 2072, 20 years after the events of the original Deus Ex, in a world being rebuilt following a catastrophic event known as the Collapse. The game follows Alex D., a trainee at the Tarsus Academy, who becomes entangled in a complex web of competing factions after a terrorist attack destroys Chicago with a devastating nanite bomb. Players could freely switch allegiances between multiple organizations, including the corporation-like World Trade Organization, WTO, the religious group known as the Order, the militant Knights Templar, and the cybernetically enhanced Omar. Each faction represented different viewpoints on how post-collapse society should develop, with choices affecting who trusts you and who becomes your enemy. The game streamlined many mechanics from its predecessor, while introducing innovations like the universal ammo system and enhanced physics engine. Players could manipulate objects in the environment, from small items to human bodies, creating opportunities for creative problem-solving. The game's atmospheric locations, from Seattle to Cairo, were enhanced by impressive lighting effects that pushed the Unreal Engine 2 to its limits. Despite some criticism for its smaller levels and simplified mechanics compared to the original, Invisible War deserves recognition for attempting to expand upon its predecessor's themes in thoughtful ways. While it may not have reached the heights of its predecessor, Invisible War's ambitious attempt to evolve the formula and its complex narrative choices make it a noteworthy entry in the cyberpunk genre.
Wasting no time here! What you got? Off the wall!
Yo, take it however you want to take it. You just plain suck.
Def Jam Fight for NY. This game follows a created character who saves D-Mob from arrest and gets pulled into an underground fighting scene, becoming entangled in a violent turf war against the ruthless Crow, played by Snoop Dogg. It has 5 distinct fighting styles: street fighting, kickboxing, martial arts, wrestling, and submissions. Players could mix and match up to 3 styles to create their unique fighting approach. The game's environmental interaction was groundbreaking, allowing fighters to slam opponents into walls, use crowd-held weapons, and execute brutal blazing moves, devastating special attacks that became available as you built up crowd support. The game's presentation was equally impressive, featuring an extensive roster of over 35 hip-hop artists and celebrities, including Method Man, Busta Rhymes, Lil Kim, Ice-T, and Carmen Electra. The deep customization system lets players develop their character's appearance with thousands of clothing combinations, jewelry, and tattoos, all of which affect gameplay by influencing crowd reaction and special move availability. The story mode offered roughly 8 to 10 hours of gameplay filled with betrayals, revenge, and brutal underground fights. The game's atmosphere was enhanced by distinctive battle arenas ranging from Rasta-themed Jamaican bars to Fight Club-style basements with blood-soaked cardboard floors. Despite some minor camera issues and occasional frame rate problems, Fight for NY received widespread critical acclaim for its improved gameplay mechanics, engaging story, and authentic hip-hop atmosphere. And there you have it, folks. 15 best old-school games that are still good more than 20 years later. From pixelated pioneers to groundbreaking gameplay, these classics remind us why we fell in love with gaming in the first place. Whether it's slaying dragons or smashing blocks, these titles are proof that greatness doesn't fade, it just levels up. If you enjoyed this nostalgic ride, don't forget to smash that like button, drop a comment below on your favorite old-school game, and of course, subscribe for more epic gaming content. This is Bruce signing off. Keep gaming, stay legendary, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Peace out.
Give it to them. It never was about the money.